It's enough, it's enough, it's enough. And the system you cannot trust. It's enough, when the whole wide world is corrupt. It's enough, and we all are just getting fucked. It's enough. When will the desire for love outweigh the desire for power? When will we face the truth and allow our hearts to flower? For the planet, for the people, for every living thing upon this world. Yeah, the destruction, and the hatred. Oh, the hatred is about to take us down for good. What's in all those trails up there in the sky? Why has all the food become modified? Pushing all your drugs just to keep us high, while the media propagates the lie. And I know, oh yes I know, the all-seeing eye is the devil. It's enough, it's enough, it's enough. And the system you cannot trust. It's enough, when the whole wide world is corrupt. It's enough, and we all are just getting fucked. It's enough, it's enough, it's enough, it's enough, it's enough. And the system you cannot trust. It's enough, when the whole wide world is corrupt. It's enough, and we all are just getting fucked. It's enough, it's enough, it's enough, it's enough, it's enough. And the system you cannot trust. It's enough, when the whole wide world is corrupt. It's enough, and we all are just getting fucked. It's enough.
See, Lenny Kravitz knows what time it is. It's enough. It's enough. The whole wide world is corrupt. Corrupt. Yeah, so I just want to do a quick opinion piece here. This picture these are Shaolin monks in training. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah, well, it seems that the powers that be, the people in charge of this place, the people or entities in charge of this place, they don't seem to like beautiful things. Beautiful, peaceful, free spirits, things that are beautiful and independent and autonomous. They don't seem to like that. You know what they like? They like control. They like tyranny. They like being dictators and ruling with an iron fist and ruthlessness. That's what they like. They don't like free will. And they don't want us to have any free will. So what I want to do, I just want to give my thoughts on what's currently taking place, and I'd like to get your feedback on what you think is going on. I'm just going to give a quick breakdown on the way I see things going in terms of America and the rest of the world. Right now, we're essentially in the process of a communist takeover of America. Communism is sort of the idea that no one can hold any personal property, things like that. They don't want anyone owning any small businesses. They don't want anybody, like, essentially they want everyone dependent on the government. So, I'm going to break this down for you because some of you people are a little bit mentally challenged. Um, it's not really your fault per se, but it's kind of when you've been being poisoned for years on end, it's not that easy to think. So I can't really fault anyone for what's going on cognitively. Essentially, we've been being poisoned through the water supply via fluoride since we came out of the womb. Fluoride is in the tap water, it's in the bottled water, it's a neurotoxin, and it lowers your IQ. So we've been all being poisoned for years on end through the water supply. We're now being poisoned through the air supply via toxic heavy metals in the form of chemtrails, to include such lovely metals as strontium, barium, and aluminum, which are all toxic. Strontium and barium are carcinogenic, and aluminum causes Alzheimer's disease. It goes up to your brain, and pretty soon you won't be able to think, and you're becoming senile, and you're forgetting things, and you have brain fog, and, just lovely, lovely symptoms. So there's a lot going on right now, and you have to think whatever goes up must come down. So if they're spraying it in the sky, it's then coming down gradually and contaminating all the soil, which then contaminates all the water, which then contaminates the entire food supply. We also have lovely weather warfare agents that work for the U.S. military from the U.S. Air Force that are dumping out these toxins. So, on top of that, they're enacting this 5G grid, which the towers are there. It's just not fully operational yet, and that's what they're working on, and that's why they want us on lockdown, so they can get all these systems in place. I've noticed they've been changing out all the cabling. It's much thicker with the 5G on the telephone poles. I'm watching them do all of this. I mean, it can't be disputed. It's happening right in front of our faces. I'm seeing it. It's not a fabrication or an illusion or something that someone dreamed up. It's actually happening. I went to the school that I went to grade school at, and there was all kind of fiber optic trucks back there. They're installing the 60 gigahertz weaponry in the schools. Okay, this is actually happening. I see it with my own eyes. So if anyone wants to say, oh, that's not what they're doing, why is the country in the state that it's in? Why is there a fake pandemic? The answer is because they needed a ruse and a cover story, so they could get us all locked in the houses at night, so they could continue installing the 5G kill grid and get all of their systems in place in time for when the children go back to school in the fall, because they're calibrating and getting everything ready. These are military-grade weapons that they're putting in children's schools, in hospitals, essentially everywhere. So we're going to be being irradiated like 24/7. So when I say people are mentally challenged, you're being irradiated via Wi-Fi. You're being poisoned through the air and water and food. There's nanobots in every single item at the grocery store. There's there's a whole sophisticated system that's going on right now, and a lot of these things work in conjunction with the vaccinations and the mercury and the vaccinations. There's very sophisticated stuff going on right now, and it all works in unison. So the radiation, the chemtrails, the vaccines, who knows what they injected us with when we were children. I'm sure some element of that works in conjunction with something else, the chemtrails or the radiation. It all works together. And so this has been something very carefully thought out and very well planned. This is not just some happenstance thing that, oh my God, that affects that and that. No, they knew all this affects everything. They know this all works in conjunction. That's why they're doing it. So anyway, in terms of this communist takeover, the goal is to collapse all the small businesses. They have to have a fake pandemic in order to do that. Because what they're going to do is they're going to keep delaying the dates for things reopening. When weren't they supposed to open stuff May 20th? That didn't really happen. So I assume, what are they going to push it back to June 20th and then July 20th and then till the fall, till the kids go back to school? They're keeping it open-ended because they're not sure when the 5G is all going to be done. That's why they don't have a set date of when everything can reopen, because they don't know when they're going to finish with the 5G installation. So it's like, oh, if they need more time and they're not quite finished with the 5G, then they'll just go, oh, we need another month. The pandemic numbers are up, or they'll just make up more lies, because that's what they do. They just make up more and more lies for when we figure out one set of lies, then they come up with a new set of lies, and when we get that one down, they come up with a different one, and they just keep, and so the story goes. So it just keeps going on and on. The essential goal, in my opinion, is to collapse all small businesses, mom and pop shops, things like that. They don't want anyone functioning on their own. They don't want anyone having any livelihood on their own. In my opinion, what they want to do is collapse all small businesses and have giant corporations like Amazon, Walmart, Stop and Shop. All these stores that are open right now, that seems to be, in my opinion, who they want to take control of everything else. Whole Foods. Amazon owns Whole Foods. It's all part of the beast system. They're all in on it. Facebook, why do you think they're hiding information? If they're not in on it, then why are they hiding information? They could just, but they leave up all the anti-Christian stuff. That's perfectly fine. They leave all that up. So that's all good, apparently. So we can see who the culprit is by what information is allowed and what isn't. You catch my drift? Right. So we can see who the culprit is. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Okay? We can see who the main players are hiding the information. It's the social media companies. So check who runs those companies. If it's Instagram, Twitter. I had to go off Twitter. I had a dummy account where I was just commenting and they were deleting all of my comments, so that didn't last long. I had that for a few months and then went off. Then I just deleted that dummy account again, so I don't have any accounts on social media. But all you need to do is look at the main players, look who runs these companies, and you'll see who's all in on the beast system. They're all in on it. The politicians, they're all in on it. Okay? I don't know what kind of, if they got some payoff check to keep their mouth shut, if they're under gag order for certain things and other things they can speak about. I don't know, but all I know is they're all in on it. That I can tell you. So what they want to do is collapse all small businesses, have these giant corporations take over, have us sitting in our prison cells, aka our room or our house or our apartment, our condo, whatever. They want us sitting in our prison cell, not leaving the house, not talking to anyone, ordering everything from Amazon. So they're making bank off making everyone sick with their poisons in the air and the water and the radiation, and they're making bank off all the problems that they're creating. So it's just all the money's flowing in a circle, flowing back to the powers that be. And so who's benefiting? Who's profiting off of all of this? Take a look at that. That's what you might want to look at a little closer. So anyway, bottom line is this. They want to collapse all the small businesses. They want the big corporations to take over. They want us not leaving the house, sitting in our prison cells, giving all our money to the big corporations. Then they want to give us a universal basic income, UBI, universal basic income, so that if the government is paying us, there's no, basically upward mobility is now out the window. You're stuck in a certain class. In my opinion, they want to keep everyone in the lower class, and they want to totally get rid of the middle class. So if they can put us all on a universal basic income, which they're already preparing us for via these economic stimulus checks, they're getting us used to the idea of having like a set payment. I heard they might do it for 6 months, and certain politicians, that guy Yang or whatever, had already brought up this idea. I think maybe he ran in 2016. I don't know when he brought it up. I don't know. Oh, that's presidential. I don't know when he brought it up. I don't follow this stuff too closely, but I did hear about it. He had brought this up, and I think they want to do this worldwide, just create some kind of universal basic income. And that's why they're sort of like toying around with it and playing around with it now, because I think they want to see how the public reacts and how it works. Like, is it working? And this is about control. It's about being able to control us more. If they only give us a set income, and then we can only order everything on the internet. They know literally every single thing you're doing and ordering, they know, which means then they can market to you based off what you order. You see where this is going? You're just like a bank to them, basically. They give you money, you give it back. It's just a cyclical, rotating thing. And they can keep complete control over you, because if you never make outside of a certain income, you're never going to make enough to travel, or you're never going to make enough to do this, or you only have enough for the basics, essentially. So they can keep a tight grasp on you that way. Whereas if you can start your own business, or then your income is your earnings potential is unlimited. If you can do that, you can move from one class to the next. You can move from lower to middle class to then upper class. You can blow up. You can come up with some genius idea and blow up some business and maybe make more money than the elites. They don't want that. How are they going to keep control over you if you all of a sudden have more money than them? You know what I'm saying? Then you all of a sudden have power now. You have choices. You have different options. That they don't want anyone having options. They want tight control over every single thing you do, where you go to school, what information you have access to. They want to, as you can see they're doing now, they're getting rid of truth channels. They want to completely control the narrative. Do you feel comfortable living completely under all lies? Because that's the information they're keeping up, is the lies. The lies now are the truth, and the truth they're suppressing, they're hiding, they're censoring. They don't want that out. So the truth is no longer a thing, according to the controllers. Keep in mind, these people run the entire internet. They run the entire internet, and they run the entire news media and the television. All the programming you're getting is from the elites. So theoretically, if you start to think about that, and you start to go, well, wait a minute, the people that run the news, they actually run Hollywood. Then you have to say to yourself, these people actually produce Hollywood movies. If they can produce a Hollywood movie, don't you think they can green screen a news program with the green screen in the back and a bunch of, a bunch of people in hazmat suits, taking away a sick patient? You don't think they can produce that a bunch of people in hazmat suits taking away a sick patient if they produce Hollywood movies? You understand what I'm trying to say? You don't think they can't fabricate a sick person coming in or out of the hospital when they produce Hollywood movies? So a fake COVID patient, you don't think they can, manipulate that on the screen? You know how easy that is to do? So get with the program, because some of you are a little bit behind. Okay, get up to speed. Okay, we've been trying to break this down for you for God knows how long. I've been going over this for over a year, and not one person asked me not one question. So that tells you where we're at, okay? I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty inquisitive myself. I don't know why no one else is. The only conclusion I can possibly come to is they're just totally overloaded with toxic heavy metals, that they're just so far poisoned that they cannot think. Now they got people wearing masks. They cannot breathe. They cannot breathe. They cannot think. They're being poisoned through the water supply. They're being poisoned through the food supply. They're being irradiated. They're being poisoned with toxic heavy metals. So I'm not blaming anyone for not being able to think. I detox regularly, like 2-3 times a week, okay? I do not drink any fluoride for years. So, I think I've got my consciousness to a pretty good level, because I know the attacks that we're under. I know everything that they're attacking us with, and thus I know how to get it out of my body. Whereas everyone else has been walking around this entire time not detoxing, not paying attention to anything anyone's saying, and calling everyone crazy conspiracy theorists, and going on their merry way, and therefore they're going to be getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker if they don't start to get up to speed with what's going on. Because we're under attack, from like every angle. This is not just one attack we're under. We're under like 10 different attacks. I mean, there's very sophisticated stuff going on right now. So to stay healthy is quite a lot of work right now. So anyway, I just wanted to give my opinion on what I think is going on. I'd like to hear everyone else's opinion of what is going on. Now, all of the pieces are in place. This thing is in motion, and it's just been doing nothing but moving forward and forward and forward. Now, when they've gone this far with this agenda, do you think they're really going to turn around and go backwards? I mean, they've spent God knows how much money on all this spraying and enacting this 5G and all this stuff. Do you think they're going to put all this, spend all this money and then just go, oh, I don't think we're going to, hit the switch on the 5G? I mean, they're obviously going to do something. So, it looks like there's going to be a 5G slaughter at some point. They're going to hit the switch on that thing, and a lot of people are going to get injured, in my opinion, and they need to do that. And then they're going to say, that's why they're saying there's going to be a second wave of the COVID in the fall, because that's when they're going to flip the switch on the 60 gigahertz weaponry that they're putting in the kids' schools, and then they're going to go, oh, see, that's that second COVID wave that we were talking about. Look, it slaughtered, there's been a COVID outbreak in this school, so we need to force vaccinate you. The end goal is to get us all forcibly vaccinated and microchipped with Bill Gates' ID 2020. That the microchip is in the vaccine. So they needed the ruse and the cover story of the coronavirus in order to get to the end goal and say, oh my God, oh look, all these children died, because that's going to play on also children, if you think about it. That will play on people's emotions as well, because they'll be like, oh my God, the poor children, it's killing children. Oh yeah, we definitely want the vaccination now. You see what I'm saying? So it's all like, just mind fuckery and playing with people's minds, playing on people's emotions, things like that. So essentially, they want to get us all microchipped, and on the microchip, we'll have all our health information. We won't be able to buy or sell without that microchip in us. Like, supposedly, we're going to use that chip in order, like, we go to the store and we can pay with this chip or something like that. I don't know how exactly it's supposed to work, but like, they also can electronically torture you and do all this other stuff if you have that chip in you, and track your every move. Oh, where are you? Well, you have a chip in you, then they know exactly where you are. Why on earth would anyone agree to that type of lunacy? That's slavery on steroids. That's insane. So anyway, the goal is this. Come up with a fake ruse cover story, aka the coronavirus COVID pandemic, which is all fake, to collapse. That way, they can say, well, we need to shut everything down because everyone has to stay apart, because then they're going to catch this, fake virus. So then, they've got everything shut down, and the more time passes, the more and more businesses are going to go out of business, because 1 month goes by. Okay, maybe they could stay afloat for that 1 month. 2 months goes by. Maybe they skimmed by in the second month. By the time you start hitting 3, 4, 5 months, okay, these businesses are not going to be able to stay afloat. They're just not. It doesn't work like that. So they're going to collapse all of these small businesses. The small businesses are what drives the economy. That's what provides jobs. Without the small businesses, we're all screwed, okay? And then they can, the military can swoop in, start forcibly vaccinating people. A civil war is going to break out, because we're already starting to see there's been protests in Michigan, there's been protests in Cali. People are already starting to protest these lockdowns. And the more, there's been millions and millions of unemployment claims filed, the more people don't have money, the more desperate people are going to get, the more crime, like petty crime, stealing, just grabbing someone's purse, things like that, because you need money for food. The more that type of stuff is going to rise. So you're going to see a rise in petty crimes. When desperation sets in, people just start robbing people. If you need to eat, you do what you need to do, okay? So that's when we're going to start seeing, a civil war is going to break out. Either that, or there's just going to be like massive protesting, or people are going to start turning on each other, and all hell is going to break loose, unless they can open up the economy. So let's just hope by some miracle they just reopen the economy and everything goes back to normal. I don't see that happening, because they already got all their cards on the table. They already went really far with this agenda. They're not going to turn around and go, oh, well, I don't think we're going to go through with it now, because, people are getting mad. I mean, we need a huge pushback basically from everyone. Everyone needs to wake up and start fighting for their human rights, their civil rights, their civil liberties. Otherwise, I don't see how this is going to change, because they've already got all the 5G infrastructure in place. The towers are all there. They're just not. I think they're sort of like fixing all the wiring, and they're there, but they weren't really set up and calibrated just yet. So that's what they're doing while we're on lockdown. When that thing goes live, it's not going to be a pretty sight, because this is really dangerous, really, really dangerous stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on just the whole situation that's going on, and make sure to listen to that Lenny Kravitz song again, and listen closely to the lyrics that he's talking about. I'll put the link of the actual video in the description box, but re-listen to that when you finish my commentary, and listen to the lyrics that he's talking about. Okay, thank you.